Mr. Carter, could you sit back away from the television just a little? Okay. Mr. Carter, could you sit back away from the television just a little bit? Just sit back. Thank you. That's much better. Thank you. We can hear quite well, so you don't need to lean forward. Mr. Carter, I'm going to be reading some information from the file, and these are violations of your condition of parole, and you're going to be entering a plea of guilty or not guilty or guilty with a statement. Okay? Yeah. And we'll take the information later if it's with a statement. But you were accused of violating, first of all, do you have a piece of paper in front of you that you've signed that shows that you're not eligible for appointed counsel? It's a parole revocation questionnaire. Do you have that?
Yeah, this paper right here.
Pull it back a little bit. Let me see. Bring it in a little bit. Oh, yeah. Yes, that's it. And so you are not eligible for appointed counsel today, according to your question that you answered. And you do not have a paid attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you've been accused of failing to live at the address that you provided as your primary residence. But the Mesquite Police Department arrest report shows that you were living in Mesquite, Texas. As a result, you absconded supervision. How do you plead on that?
Not guilty.
Okay. Number 4, you failed to not engage in criminal activity. The Mesquite Police Department arrested you on June 21st, 2024 for drug paraphernalia, and then again on 6/28 for domestic assault. How do you plead?
Not guilty. I had pleaded guilty to the marijuana charge, but I never was arrested for domestic dispute because the day they said I was arrested for domestic dispute, I was in Green Oaks Hospital. I gave my parole officer paperwork on that matter.
Okay, so I'm going to take the lead on asking a few questions here. So where were you arrested for marijuana?
I was arrested on June 21st, and I pleaded.
The question was where?
I was in Mesquite, Texas.
You were in Texas.
My parole officer know I had permission to be out there. He knew I was out there. He had the address. He had my job address. So I had permission to be out there, and I was in compliance with him the whole time. I was Zoom calling with him and everything.
Joining us via Zoom is Chantal Jackson, a family friend who would like to speak on your behalf. Ms. Jackson, what would you like to say?
Good morning. I was asked to join to be a character witness, which I agreed to be a character witness for Kerry Carter on this morning. I'm just here to state that I know Kerry Carter when given the opportunity, he's able to be a productive citizen. He enjoys working. When he do have a job, when given the opportunity to work, he will work. He will go to work every day. I heard the excitement in his voice. That was one of the things with him being in Texas that kept him there. He was able to gain employment while there, which kept him there longer than he was supposed to be. He wasn't able to get that opportunity in New Orleans, no matter how much he put effort in to gain employment there. So I'm not sure if him and his parole officer were, I don't know the details as far as communication on how long he was able to stay, or if that was a change that was taking place since he successfully gained employment. I'm not sure if they were trying to conduct something where he can relocate there. I'm not sure. But I'm just here to state that in all of the years that I've been knowing him, he's very responsible as far as taking care of his family, taking care of his bills. And again, he just enjoyed work. I just hope that they're able to look into that situation. The fact that he was employed, was going to work daily to work. And that's just what I wanted to state on his behalf.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Carter, you have more than one outstanding warrant in Texas. Is that correct?
It was for some tickets. It was all like municipal warrants. But like the thing is, my parole officer and I, once I graduated the program in Louisiana, I told him I wanted to do an interstate compact. We did the interstate compact. He gave the people the wrong address. So when they went out, they went to the wrong apartment building. So I come back from Mesquite to do the paperwork again. He said we were going to do it electronically, him and his supervisor. So I visited 4 times. The 5th time that I was coming to visit, the transmission went out in the car. So I told him that I wasn't able to make it. So like all of a sudden, like every time I got arrested, it was at the house. The police was coming to the house. I never was doing no disturbing. I never was doing anything violent. I was doing what I was told, and I was in compliance with him the whole time. I was on parole.
Okay, so tell me what your understanding of those parole conditions are. So you're a 3rd-class offender, and you signed your parole conditions. So when it says that you're supposed to live at the address on your parole certificate,
the address that our parole to was 241 Chauvenet. He changed the address because when he went to come into my house, he came to 241 Chauvenet several times. He used, when he told me every time he go to my house, my uncle looked at him in a certain type of way. So I gave him my mama address was Pebble Drive. So when I gave him the Mesquite address, that's where he had permission. I was working for Bella Scott White. He had the job address and everything, man. I was in compliance the whole time because I'm on too much parole to not be in compliance with the parole board, with my parole officer.
so do you have an interstate compact agreement to be in Texas?
Yes, ma'am. I did it in his office. We did it, but it didn't go through.
Okay. You have submitted one.
Yeah, I submitted one.
You do not have an active compact to be in Texas. Did you have a signed travel agreement?
We never signed any paperwork, and I fault myself for not signing any paperwork, but him and his supervisor know that I was coming.
Okay, so you have parole condition. If you cannot produce for me a legitimate ICOTS agreement to be in Texas or have signed paperwork that shows they gave you permission to be in Texas, then you're not supposed to be in Texas.
Yes, ma'am, and I fault myself because I didn't know this my first time on parole. I didn't know.
You're a 3rd-class offender, though.
Huh?
You're a 3rd-class offender, and this is your first time on parole?
Yeah, this is my first time on parole. I've been on probation. I've never been on parole, so I didn't know about the risk.
The same requirements. Okay. Do my colleagues have any questions, Mrs. Renatza or Mr. Prater?
Yes. Did you have a shank on you when the parole officer was talking to you?
No, sir. If I had a shank on me, I would have been charged. I would have been written up by the deputy. They come and search the cell and everything. They put me on a scanner. None of that never took place because I haven't been charged for no shank. I haven't been written up. There was no shank involved.
You seem to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Because when I got out the booth, I asked the deputy why they keep putting me on a scanner. And they put me on a 6th time. They say your parole officer said you have a shank. I said y'all can go search the attorney booth. They went and searched it. They found no shank. If I had a shank, I'd have been written up and rebooked for a shank.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Carter, you have a drug problem, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. I smoke a lot of marijuana.
Okay. Have you ever had any kind of substance abuse for your drug problem?
I did Blue Waters, I did Steve Hall program, I had graduated from that, made parole, but I never had any outpatient for my drug addiction. I never been drug tested or anything since I've been on parole.
Oh, the police found it, so. I don't think I have any further questions. Mr. Carter, it boils down to you have to comply with the conditions. Sit back, please. I can't see you.
Yes, ma'am.
It boils down to you have to comply with those conditions. Illegal behavior or unauthorized behavior is a violation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You were in Texas. You do not have an interstate compact that is active, signed by both states and accepted. That's absconding. Okay. You had arrest while you were there. There's still, some of them are still pending.
Yes, ma'am. The arrest that's pending is for tickets. Is never no felony charges. Like,
doesn't matter. A misdemeanor, we can revoke you even with a
yes,
misdemeanor.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So at this point today, my vote is going to be revoke your parole. And that's just, you just have to follow them. That's just my vote. Mr. Knotson?
I concur. My vote also is to revoke. I find him guilty of violating conditions 3, 4, and 10.
And Mr. Prater?
Concur with that, revoke 3, 4, and 10.
So, Mr. Carter, today your parole has been revoked.
So how much time I have to back up on being revoked?
All right. We are back at Arlene's Justice Center. Sir, would you please sit back in your seat a little bit? Thank you very much. You don't have to be quite so close. We can hear and see if you sit back. Please state your name and your DOC number for the record.
Ezekiel Doyle, 755512.
Mr. Doyle, this is the Louisiana Committee on Parole. My name is Jerry Ledoux. Cheryl Renatza and Steve Prater are also online virtually. We do have appointed counsel. And sir, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, good morning. Jacob McCarty from the Orleans Public Defender's Office.
Yes, Mr. McCarty, feel free to assist your client at any time that he may need. And we will ask for your input at the appropriate time. So, Mr. Doyle, you are before this committee today because you were accused of violating condition number 4 of your parole. You were engaged in criminal activity on or about 6/28/2024 when you were arrested by the NOPD for battery upon a dating partner, aggravated assault of a dating partner, and battery on a dating partner by strangulation. On 8/8/2024, the DA refused the charges. How do you plead?
Not guilty, ma'am.
Not guilty. Mr. Doyle, would you like to answer questions now by Ms. Renatza?
Good morning, Mr. Doyle. I would like to hear from Mr. McCarthy, but first I'd like for you to tell us what happened, let's see, in October of 23. Why were you arrested? Let's say it that way. Maybe that one.
Sorry, if I could just clarify, Mr. Doyle wasn't arrested in October. He was arrested later in June on the warrant. So
Okay, yes.
in case there's any confusion there, Ezekiel.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Ezekiel. Tell us what happened.
We have actually got into a argument that got out of hand. I wasn't the aggressor in the situation. I got stabbed in the eye while I was attempting to leave the house, but while I was leaving, it got out of hand. So someone called the police.
It was someone called the police. I think it was a neighbor. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
And I do see that in the police report, she does acknowledge that she poked you in the eye. But what else happened? I mean, what was the argument over? And what happened?
The argument was over, honestly. I was trying to wake her up so she could change her daughter's diaper because her daughter had defecated over everyone in the bed and she was asleep while I was trying to get her to change her daughter's diaper. I didn't feel comfortable changing her diaper, so I was waking her up to change her diaper, but she woke up in a very bad mood and the argument got out of hand because I didn't feel comfortable changing her diaper. I feel like if someone was that's not my someone that's not the biological father and you not really haven't been dating that long, you shouldn't feel comfortable letting someone change your daughter's diaper.
Right. Was it her daughter or her son?
It was her daughter.
Because the report I have shows it was the 2-year-old son.
No, she doesn't have a 2-year-old son.
Okay, so that's a typo. So it got so out of hand and something she was you got mad at her. And then how was the neighbor alerted? The neighbor came in and tried to help, I think, but how was that neighbor alerted?
I'm not sure because I ended up leaving the situation before it got any more out of hand because being on parole, I know I'm held to a higher set of expectations. So, and I try my hardest to stay compliant with everything. And it wasn't my intentions for the situation to get like that. So I really was intending to leave before it got out of hand. So I'm not sure how the neighbor get involved, or I'm not even sure the neighbor's name, but I was just trying to leave.
All right. So so you're saying you never laid a hand on her?
No, after I got stabbed, I was trying to get her and the knife, trying to create space between us so I could diffuse the situation. But it was just getting more and more out of hand. She hit me with a wine bottle, everything. I was charged with an aggravated assault, but I never had a weapon. I wasn't the aggressor. I never intended for the situation to get like this. I really was just trying to leave. And before that, I was just trying to get her to change her daughter's diaper because the evening before that, we had a great evening. She made dinner. We watched a movie with the whole family. Everybody went to sleep. But when we woke up, her daughter, Tyrell, had everyone. And
well, so it shows, and the witness says Miss Pipkins was she had bleeding from her mouth, bruising on her face, she was cut. How did that happen?
I'm not sure. When she stabbed me in my eye, I was at that point I was fearing for my life. Not that I was trying to, cause bodily injury to her, but I was just trying to create space and save my eye because I was bleeding. I still have the scar to prove on my eye, so I was just trying to create space between us so I could diffuse the situation because it really wasn't nothing that warranted that type of reaction because I really was trying to get her to change her daughter's diaper. Considering my legal situation and, everything I'm in, I just wanted to be safe, to be safe.
Okay. Well, I'd like to hear Mr. McCarthy. What can you tell us?
So, first, I'd just like to talk a little bit about the allegations and more specifically the refusal. Based on the initial police report, which is all that I have the benefit of having, we didn't get a full police report or body cam or 911 calls like we usually would if the case was accepted. Based on the initial police report, it is apparent that there was some sort of mutual interaction here and that Miss Pipkins contributed in some way as well. The DA here ultimately refused this charge based on this initial report with the kinds of serious injuries to Miss Pipkins that are alleged in this report, and the fact that there is an independent witness who could corroborate some of these things. Refusal is a pretty drastic thing for the DA to do. In my experience, the DA here, especially lately and in domestic cases, does not refuse things particularly lightly, especially not when there are such serious injuries and independent witnesses that could corroborate. Because even if Miss Pipkins didn't come forward, there's another witness here who ostensibly could perhaps prove the state's case for them if all of these were true. I think that what the board should conclude from a refusal is that there are some pretty serious evidentiary issues here, and that's all that I will say about that. I have not talked to Ms. Pipkins. I don't have the benefit of having full discovery, and I have not done my own investigation. But I would suggest that perhaps there is some more compelling proof out there that Ms. Pipkins was the predominant aggressor here that we all do not have the benefit of viewing. As for Mr. Doyle more generally, what I can say is based on my conversations with his parole officer, Ms. Patrice Guy, I believe that Mr. Doyle was doing quite well on parole. I think that they had a good relationship. Agent Guy seems to like Mr. Doyle quite a bit. And Mr. Doyle also has a good network of family support, and one family member in particular who really needs his support. His grandmother, Agnes Doyle, she's elderly, and she tried desperately to make it today, but unfortunately, because she had a stroke not too long ago, logging onto the initial Zoom and then this Zoom, it was very challenging for her. I do believe that she's watching from YouTube. I hope that she's watching on YouTube because I know she really wants to be here. And she also wants me to convey to the board that based on her age and health, she really wants Ezekiel home so that he can help care for her. So on that score, Mr. Doyle has a place that he can go where Precious Pipkins is not there. And as he expressed to you himself, he understands that as a parolee, he's held to a higher standard. He can't be in situations where he's getting into any kind of trouble, even if it's not, even if it doesn't result in a conviction. And so it is his intent not to go anywhere near Miss Pipkins after he's out, and he would accept any additional conditions that the board wants to impose, DV classes, anger management classes, whatever you feel is appropriate. He will happily accept and comply with. And so we're asking that you not revoke him and add any additional conditions. And I'm happy to answer any other questions that you have.
All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I also totally randomly have an unrelated question to Mr. Doyle that I would just like to ask the parole board at the conclusion.
Ms. Ledoux, I don't have any other questions.
Right. So at the time that they dismissed those, they said the court issued a domestic protective order in the matter. But they found probable cause. I would love to see. Why am I seeing that? They found probable cause. They had he had to attend domestic violence monitoring program 7/17/2024 and fitted yes, ankle monitor. Mr. Doyle, tell me what that's about.
Well, I think I could probably answer this better. At any defendant's first appearance, one of the three things that a commissioner must do under the law is determine whether there's probable cause for that defendant's arrest. In this case, Mr. Doyle was arrested on a warrant. Warrants are only issued if another judge has already found probable cause. So that finding that you're reading was a very ministerial, a warrant has already been issued, a different judge has determined PC. As for the domestic conditions you mentioned, those are standard conditions imposed on any defendant in Orleans Parish who is arrested on a charge that's domestic in nature. It doesn't actually have to be a domestic abuse charge. I have clients who are charged with aggravated battery, but because the other person involved is a domestic partner, they impose stay away orders, DV monitoring, and so on. So those are very standard and ministerial things that you're seeing in the docket there.
Thank you for that information. Mr. Prater, do you have any questions?
Yes, I'd like to know, how much time do you spend with this lady, or did you spend with this lady? Time were you living there?
No, sir, I wasn't living there. I was living at 1411 Franklin Street in Gretna. But at the time, she was someone that I was dating. So I was just going over there to enjoy supper and then return back home because I have legal obligations that I have to remain compliant with. So I have to stay at my address. I can't just leave and live anywhere I want to. I have to be at the address that I'm required to be at.
That's what I was wondering about, if there was any prohibitions with your registration and your carnal knowledge of a juvenile convictions of you being around those juvenile kids. That's what I was wondering, if there's any prohibitions about that.
No, I don't have any sanctions or requirements that would restrict me from being around kids. I can live anywhere I want to. I can live around playgrounds and parks. The charge, I don't know how the tier go, but I'm on the lowest tier. But that's why I said that I was trying to remain safe in that situation, because she felt that I should have taken the initiative and changed the diaper, because it's just changing the diaper, but being self-conscious about that and having to, stay in compliance with those laws, I wanted to be safe, and I really wanted her to change the diaper and not me, because I don't want to have to deal with that again. I already have a lot to deal with that. As far as when I was in prison with that before, that was a lot mentally for me to have to deal with. And, I'm out of jail, I was working, I'm doing well with my life right now, so I just wanted to stay safe.
Okay. How long have you been on parole?
I got released from parole in 2023, I believe, June or July.
It was July.
Okay, so it's been about a year before this occurred. All right, that's all the questions I have.
Okay, if we have no further questions or information, the panel prepared to vote. Ms. Renata?
Yes. Mr. Doyle and Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy, I appreciate the information you provided today. I hear what you're saying, Mr. Doyle, about your concern of inappropriate, or the appearance of inappropriate behavior with the child. But I believe something occurred in spite of the fact that, the DA has refused the charges. I'm not comfortable. My vote today is to find you guilty of violating of the criminal activity and to revoke your parole.
Mr. Prater?
I concur with Ms. Renata. I think something happened there. It was apparent with the bruising and all that. And if you're on parole, you got to avoid the appearance of impropriety, even just like he's saying he did with the juvenile. He's got to do that with his relationships. And if something gets heated or something like that, get out of there.
That's what I was attempting to do, but she stabbed me in my eye.
Yes.
Mr. Doyle, a questionnaire is some questions are asked of the victim, and she indicated that she was afraid of you and that you had been violent towards her. And I have pictures. And so based on that evidence, my vote is also to vote to revoke your parole. So today, sir, your parole has been revoked.
As I mentioned, I had a quick question for the board. I have a different client with a interstate parole issue, and I'm wondering if there's anyone at the board that I could talk to about interstate.
We'll reach out to you directly. Thank you. This isn't the place for this.
Thank you.
All right. This is our last offender at Orleans. Sir, this is the Louisiana Committee on Parole. My name is Jerry Ledoux. Two of our members are serving virtually today, Ms. Cheryl Renutz and Mr. Steve Prater. Would you please state your name and your DOC number for the record?
Derek Allen, 607-508.
Okay, so Mr. Allen, I'm going to read some information. Some violations have been alleged against you for your parole conditions. And when I read those, then I'm going to need you to enter a plea of guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 4 indicates you were arrested 8/15/2023 under New Orleans Police Department for illegal carrying of a weapon, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, illegal carrying of a weapon with a controlled dangerous substance. How do you plead?
I plead guilty with a statement.
Okay. Okay. And number 5, you were arrested on 8/15 for illegal carrying of weapon and possession, illegal carrying of a weapon with a controlled dangerous substance. How do you plead? Because 4 and 5 are 2 different conditions, but it's the same information. You're not supposed to have a gun, and you did legal activity, so it's 2 different conditions.
Well, I didn't have nothing, but what they say I had, I'm gonna say guilty with a statement because I won't be able to tell my side.
All right. That's
As you can see, my charges was beat.
Okay. And so number 10, you are in arrears $149 in supervision fees. Guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement.
Not guilty because I paid my father's fees. As you can see, I paid my father's fees August 9th before I came to jail, August 15th. So I paid my father's fees.
Okay. Mr. Allen, you don't have anybody here on your behalf or opposed. I'm going to be asking you some questions. First of all, I want you to know that I watched the entire body cam of your arrest.
Yes, ma'am.
And your behavior after. Were you impaired at the time of your arrest?
Excuse me?
Were you impaired? Were you on drugs? Were you doing drugs the day that you were arrested?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Why didn't you, when they stopped you, why didn't you identify yourself? Why did you run?
Well, the way they approached me, ma'am, they didn't just like, they didn't follow the right protocol to stop me. I didn't even know they were about to stop me because I was talking to an individual in the green truck. They just swarmed at me because they wouldn't even, they assumed that I had an extended magazine on me and I didn't. They was watching the house for narcotics or whatever. They were watching the house, but then they started messing with me. But when they messed with me, they say I had this and I had that, but I didn't. That's why the charges was dropped. But if they would have just pulled up on me the right way, I wouldn't run. I'm paranoid schizophrenic, man. I'm diagnosed with that. I just did 12 years in jail. No, I don't want to go back to jail.
And you were out for less than a year.
2 weeks from a year, less than a year.
Okay. And you served, you were serving for manslaughter, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So I watched the body cam. I saw the gun in the car. How do you get around that? Whether they prosecuted you or not, how do you get around the fact that was identified as your car and there's a gun in it?
That is not my gun.
When you read the parole conditions? Have you read parole conditions?
Excuse me?
Have you read your parole conditions?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I did.
Yeah. What do you know what it says?
I can't be around no guns or no legal activities and no drugs, no casinos and bars. All right, ma'am. Your name, can I pronounce your name? Jerry? How you pronounce your name?
You will call me Miss Ledoux.
Mr. Ledoux, all right, Mr. Ledoux, I went to jail August 15th, Mr. Ledoux, 2023. All right, today is October 15, 2024. My charges been beat, I want to say 3 to 4 months ago. All right, all right, I'm gonna say I'm guilty on everything, but like today, why we can't focus on today? I have done health. I have completed programs. Just right here sitting right here in Orleans Parish. I have completed programs. I have helped guys. Is you familiar with Sister Hart?
So, okay. You've been doing that since you've been in.
Yes, ma'am. I am part of I helped start a cohort. You familiar with DRC?
Yes, I am.
I have helped present a cohort with deinstitutionalized on, and as helping people to understand the better version of yourself. And I'm a part of that. My name on this. Like I have been doing a lot. Like I have changed. I'm not the same person in that video, and it's like nobody asked those type of questions. I've been down 14 months. I just been.
So your full-time date is in 2025.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the fact that you had in possession of a gun is a parole violation. Okay. I'm going to ask my colleagues if they have any questions. Mr. Renata? Mr. Prater?
No.
I believe that you're doing good things, and I'm glad that you're doing those things. That's important. But it's very important to follow the rules of parole. You're a first felony offender. Okay. This is your moment of decision. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to vote to revoke. I watched the video cam. I saw, okay. There's no doubt in my mind that you had a gun, you were possessing a gun, and you were on parole, okay? Now you have a decision of what you're going to do, Mr. Allen, after you get out, okay? And all the things that you're doing, you can continue that good work. And I hope I never see you again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Renata, are you ready to vote?
I am.
Okay.
My vote also is to revoke. I viewed the video cam too. Gun was in plain view, so I find him guilty of violating conditions of his parole. I do wish you well. I'm glad you're helping folks now, and you do have an out date that's not so far away, so make good use of your time before and after.
Thank you.
Mr. Prater?
Concur with my colleagues. I vote to revoke. He did have a gun, and I wish him well, and stay away from the guns. Get you in trouble.
Well, can y'all refer me to DRC so I can continue to help myself and help others?
Okay, so we finished voting, and you are revoked. You will continue to serve until your full-term date. And I hope you're doing well inside. So thank you very much. Today I'm serving as chairman. My name is Jerry Ledoux. Virtually is Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. We are hearing offenders at Morehouse Parish Jail. With the staff at Morehouse, please introduce yourself.
Yes, ma'am. This is Sergeant Neptune at Morehouse Parish Detention Center.
Thank you, sir.
Along with Anthony Bowman.
All right. Mr. Bowman, would you give us your GOC number?
11209.
11209.
Yes, ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Bowman, you're before this board for a parole hearing. This is a rehearing, and you're here at the discretion of the board as a release date. You are currently a third felony offender. You're serving a 12-year sentence from purse snatching. You were on parole for a manslaughter charge and were released for supervision and received a purse snatching conviction.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why you have discretion of the board. You have a good time date of July 22nd, 2027, and a full term date of August 21st, 2027. Is all that information correct according to your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We're going to hear from some of the people here in support of you, but first of all, I'd like to ask you, why do you think we should give you parole? Why are you here today? And you've been heard once.
Yes, ma'am.
What's changed? What's changed, and why should we release you?
I've dropped the ball once, ma'am, and I've asked God to forgive me for the things I have done and repented. I'm more aware now that I'm about to be 60 years old and I'm washed up. If it don't be for God keeping me, I got some things I got to do with some of my grandkids and the younger ones to speak at their events. And I have some people working for me to go speak at the youths that I've been practicing, asking God to give me more power on. And I'll be aware now that I've got enough of the jail situation. I've just about all my life in prison. And my folks are getting older, I'm getting older. And I'm just about fed up with it, ma'am. And I got enough of it. I'm broken. And I appreciate it to the fullest, to the utmost, if y'all give me another break and release me, because like I've stated, it's not meant to be the things that I have done. It wasn't by choice. I'm very sorry. I've asked God to forgive me. He's forgiven me, and I've repented of my sins. And I just want to go do better and continue the little life that I have left over. I'll be 60 in a couple of weeks if it's God's will to keep me this long, but I'm through.
Yep. Well, you're younger than I am, so we have three people that would like to speak. There are more than that who actually are in support, it looks like. But first, we will go to Bianca Watson, your niece, who is in support and would like to speak.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Bianca Watson. I'm Anthony Bowman's eldest niece. I thank God for this opportunity of a second chance. I feel like my uncle has learned. He's remorseful. He's optimistic and doing better and being better. And like he said, he's looking forward to being with his family. And God is good. God has already forgiven him. Family is here to support him and get him and keep him on the right track. And we just happy for this opportunity, and we looking forward to this being a better forthcoming for him. And I know he's gonna be well. We miss him, we love him, he's supported, and we here for him. So
thank you very much for your comment. Belinda Thomas is sister. And Ms. Thomas, if you'd like to make a statement.
Good evening. I'm Anthony Bowman's sister. He's ready to come home. I know he's ready to come home. I've been incarcerated and I've been out since 2002. And I'm doing the right thing. I ain't been back since. And I'm going to keep working with him. I need him and I want him. My husband has stage 4 liver cancer. I need help. That's him right there. I need him. I really need him. So please give him another chance to come home. I appreciate it so much. I got a job lined up for him at Goodwill where I work at. So he's going to go to school and he's going to have a job, they said. Once he go to school at Goodwill, they're going to give him a job. So I appreciate it so much if y'all give him another chance.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thompson. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
We have Nikki Wiltz, who is a community advocate and would like to speak. So.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to speak on today. My name is Ezekiel Wiltz. I work as the political organizer for for Voters Organized to Educate, and I am one of the co-founders for Rise Collective here in New Orleans. I want to say that Anthony and I have been knowing each other for some time. We stay connected. I have been connected with the family who also attend our meetings. That's bi-weekly, twice a month, and she's in support. And we stay connected. I want to say that RISE actually means resistance, involvement, solitary, and empowerment. And that's what we plan to do. Pour a lot into Anthony. As a collective, we support our loved ones that come home, and we keep them connected with community. I am the bridge to these resources. I understand that Anthony has struggled in the past with substance abuse. So here I am here to make sure he get the treatment that's necessary, counseling, stable employment. He have housing, medical care, and I am connected with Goodwill. I make sure that I stay with those that I support for as with their whole reentry process. So I'm just asking for grace and mercy to allow him to come home and allow us to give him what he need here at home with his family, as well as stay connected with the community resources that I have set up for him. Thank you for allowing me to speak on today. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead and we'll go to Mr. Prater. Mr. Prater, do you have questions for Mr. Bowman?
Yes, I do. Mr. Bowman, how are you this afternoon?
I'm fine. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, doing good. What's different now? You've got a history of theft going back to when you were a juvenile. You probably got, I don't know how many arrests, probably 10 times you've been arrested for theft. Then you shot somebody in the chest and you were caught rifling through their pants to steal from them. Then you get out and you steal from a lady after serving almost 30 years in jail. Then you steal her purse or her pocketbook. I mean, why should we trust you now? I mean, you've got nothing but thefts in your past.
Because, sir, I was young, didn't have the understanding that I have now. I've matured and I've grown and I've learned to accept my wrongs when I'm wrong and accept to learn when I don't have. But as I stated, I was young, didn't have the understanding, the knowledge that I have now. I'm more than sure that I'm now aware of what I'm supposed to do, what I'm not supposed to do, because I'm an adult now. I was a kid then. I'm a grown man. I've grown in prison. All my 20s, all my 30s, all my 40s. Now I'm 59, and I'm more than sure I have rehabilitated and learned from my past experience that this was the wrong place, the wrong time. The last event that took place when I was with was disgusted at myself for being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I ask you, Mr. Steve, to please understand from a man point of view, some of us dropped the ball once, and some of us need second chance to get it through these scars that we have. And I'm more than sure I can promise you and promise myself, it's no more in me with the foolishness. I've got enough. And I take it to the grave that is, I'm over with, I'm through with it.
Well, I appreciate that. And I do appreciate the remorse that you're showing and the growth that you're showing. But the things that we have to consider, and I've heard this statement two or three times since we've been talking to you from your family and all, second chances. We talk about way more than second chances. I mean, you've had chance after chance after chance after chance. 3 times you were arrested for theft, all when you were on probation at that time. Those were 3 other chances that you had. And so it's not just a second chance. And thank goodness we all get more than 1 chance, more than 2 chances. But I think you need to be realistic about it. You've had so many chances. And why would part of what I have to do as a board member, and I'm only 1 vote, part of what I have to do is protection of public safety of the citizens out there and represent them. And the truth of the matter is that you got a history of nothing but stealing from people. 1 point to the point of shooting somebody and stealing from them. And stealing from this poor woman that's just trying to enjoy herself and her purse is open air and you just steal her purse. Anyway, that's what I have to balance out. So how can I look at you in the eyes and know that you ain't gonna get out and steal?
Because I haven't done it in 30-something years. I'm finished with that. I don't have that habit anymore. I haven't violated in 30 years. I've been in prison. If you can check, I've never been in any more trouble besides 2014 at the incident that took place in 15. But from 1985 to this day here, I've never gotten in any more trouble because I've been in prison. If that's a mistake on the record of the paperwork, but I haven't gotten in any more trouble since 85 until 2014. I haven't gotten in any more trouble because I've been in prison.
Any write-ups in prison?
Yes, I get write-up, but no, I've never had any stealing write-up. Maybe a defiance, maybe disobedience, but I've never had any stealings. I don't do that anymore. I was young, like I stated, I come up in the environment, young. That's the things I came up with the people, the wrong crowd, the wrong people. But I'm a man now, I'm mature. I don't have time to go steal from no one because I need, and I wouldn't want anyone to steal from me. And God is my witness, sir. This is not nothing that I'm taking it for granted. I've gotten old in prison, and I've got enough of it.
Yes, I can understand that you got enough of it, but once you get out and get free and you see something on the side of the road or something in somebody's purse, how do I know that you ain't gonna steal it? That's just been your propensity your whole life.
Sir.
And so that's, I mean, that's what I got to think about.
I've been working here in other places at halfway houses with no stealing and around people that I'm cooking for, feeding, doing all types of things with. I don't do that anymore. As I stated, I'm, broken. I don't do that anymore.
Well, it's good. I sure hope that's true.
It's true. God is my witness.
Yes. That's all the questions I got.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So, Mr. Bowman, you say you were young and all that. So you were revoked in 2016.
Yes, ma'am.
How old were you then?
50, 49.
And so that's not a very, I wouldn't say that was young. That's 8 years ago.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
was the purse snatching.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you appeared before a parole panel in January of 22, and I was on that panel. You were denied.
Yes, ma'am.
And the note I made at that time was that you need more I was at that time noted that you were not successful on probation and that you needed more programs. So tell me, since 2022, what programs have you taken?
I've taken substance abuse here for part-time. I've had my job fair, the certificate I got the place here doesn't have any classes because they're just picking up from the pandemic. They didn't have any workers. But if you look from 2014 back, I got just about every certificate DOC has to offer from RCC, DCI, and Angola. Well, this LaSalle management program, I've been at Morehouse since 2019. They didn't have anyone working from the pandemic here. They only have one lady now. She put me in two of the classes that I've gotten certificate and graduated for. They have a list of people that's backlogged for one class here. That's why it's not much.
What is that class?
I've graduated from this job scale, and I've been in the IFC class, high set, learn how to use computers.
Do you have your high set?
No, ma'am, I've been through the classes, but I've got the certificate for the job skill.
So you haven't taken the test for the high set?
No, it's every so often that the lady come from.
Right, I understand that. I get it.
But it's a backlog list as it goes on for people that come in and join the class if they would to, but I've joined in, you only could give them so many days because it's a lift, 30 to 60 days.
All right, well, I just have some of the same concerns as Mr. Carter, for sure. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bowman, it seems to me like you don't recognize that maybe you got out from manslaughter with all those years behind you, 30.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you have this opportunity for freedom and you go and steal somebody's wallet. Maybe it doesn't, you don't understand how important that is for someone. That's their identity. That's their personal property. And you're in a different state.
Yes, ma'am.
And she doesn't have any of that now.
It's good I didn't hear you, ma'am.
So how do you expect us to say, look, you were out for only a year or so when you did that, you know? You were only out a very short time when you committed that first snatching.
It wasn't a year. Did you think I would have wanted to do that or be involved with someone to do that if it was my choice? No, ma'am. After going 30 flat years, do you think I have that much stupidity just to go do that at such a drastic moment? I hadn't been home 11 months, ma'am.
Well, who did it then? You didn't do it?
Yes, I did it with the guy that I was with. But it wasn't like I stole a wallet. The wallet was fixing to drop, and the guy who was with me picked it up. We picked it up together. When we walked off, they arrested us. That's how that went. But I was a part of it, and I'm not taking the blame, saying I didn't do it. I'm guilty of that. I asked God to forgive me, and He has, and I repented of it. But it's not nothing I went searching for, ma'am.
I will just say this, and it's being nitpicky, but you were in a bar. You're not even supposed to be in a bar if you're on probation, okay? I mean, there's rules for a reason, okay? If you're in a bar, then that's some of the things that can happen. At this time, Mr. Prater, are you prepared to vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Bowman, I'm going to have to vote to deny. I believe that you have shown nothing but the fact that you've got such a history of being a thief that it's hard to trust you. And then when you do get caught and you get out on probation or parole or whichever the case may be, you've got a history of violating those and not taking those serious. So you got a a full-time date coming up in a year and a half or something like that, or a short time. And so my vote for now is to continue to deny your parole.
Mr. Bowman, I made the note last time too that you didn't really accept or you weren't very forthcoming about the purse snatching, and I don't think you are again today. I mean, they have you on video, so you do admit that you did it, but you not really accept. You say you were forced into it, so to speak. It's about choices you make, your decisions. There is law enforcement opposition that's been expressed. My vote today is going to be to deny your parole for those reasons.
My vote is also to deny, Mr. Bowman.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We hope that you continue to do well. That concludes our business there at Morehouse. The time is now 12:31.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last.